RPR 180 Literary Practice Test. Ready? Here we go. The green signal flag is down. The race to the finish line is underway. Things are going very well along the speed building raceway. No speed bumps in sight. You manage to navigate around a series of small undulations. You are starting to get your cruise on, and then out of the blue, your speed plateaus. The yellow caution flag drops. You find yourself in the same speed for more than 6 months. You know that you at least avoided the red flag, but the yellow flag is warning enough to do more than just avoid hitting the wall. What should the speed builder take away from this lesson? One lesson learned must be how to win the race, not simply mastering the course of least resistance down the runway. Any reporter or student will tell you what a challenge this process is. We have all been there. What can you do? We know perseverance and hard work are the key, but what should you work on to shake things up? You know that you could cruise along at the same measured pace and ultimately reach the finish line, but as you drive along, you know you cannot simply coast. What are some ways of successfully reaching inside yourself, summoning forth strengths you know are already there, waiting to facilitate your quest to go the extra mile? Every speed instructor you have ever had probably has suggested the following at one time or another, but perhaps it's time to revisit some techniques. Part of the secret to success is internalizing the tried and true techniques, whether you are behind your court reporting machine or racing to beat the clock. Consider what your first speed instructor warned against. If you do not warm up your drill writing fingers, they will not necessarily be in a position to operate at their best capacity as you go down the long runway. Just as the race car driver behind the wheel has to call upon carefully practiced scenarios, so too should you enable your skill sets to include carefully rehearsed practice sessions that will seemingly spring to your aid in the final stretch. Thus, your number one goal in support of the race to the finish line, going full barrel down the straightaway, is to take a page out of your speed building instructor's success manual. The first skill that will need to be rehoned is perhaps one of the most basic in court reporting, yet often one of the most overlooked: exercise. Hurdle number 1, exercise those fingers. Warm up every day for 15 minutes by writing finger drills. Many working reporters do this to keep their fingers limber and strong. Work on the ones that are more of a challenge for you. A very good book to refer to is Stened's Ultimate Finger Drill Book. In the long run, keeping up flexibility and speed through regular exercise is as necessary to building speed for court reporters as a fast reaction time is to race car drivers. The winners in either case have their most essential, most basic skills on which to automatically rely when push comes to shove. Likewise, several other crucial skills must be put into one's toolbox to be drawn upon in the final stretch. Hurdle number 2, read and analyze, noting the old adage, a word to the wise is sufficient. Here then are 3 words to the wise court reporter in training from one seasoned speed building instructor. Read and analyze. No matter how many times you have consulted your notes to see where your fingers may have gone astray, it is of supreme importance to read and analyze your notes. Be sure to print out your vertical notes. If you don't have paper notes, don't hesitate to review and then once again proofread any notes you have taken, whether on paper or otherwise. Plan to incorporate this practice as well into your regular routine. This form of self-monitoring will become another one of the most important tools to tune up for your race to your ultimate goal. Becoming proficient at identifying any areas of weakness is a strength, not a weakness. The most successful pros are those most adept at studying any errors and seeking ways to avoid repeating them. Hurdle number 3, categorize and correct mistakes. While it may be self-evident to some, experienced speed building instructors still have a most valid point when they remind us to use a pen to correct your notes. This will aid in avoiding such errors in the future. In the process of dissecting your notes, you should have the following objectives. 1, correct speed bump flaws. Look for how many times you are asterisking to correct an error. If you see you are correcting a word 2 or 3 times, stop this. This slows you down. 2, reduce hesitations. Look for words where there are hesitations in your writing and where you dropped as a result of the hesitation. Next, look for phrases and brief forms you could have used. If you learn new briefs, be sure to know them well enough to write them without hesitation. Practice those words. Such hesitations contribute to slowing you down. 3. Strategize to address misstrokes. Look for any pattern of continued misstroking. Identify your weaknesses. You may be dropping word endings. Mark them and learn from them. Journal your misstrokes and log the corrected outline. Right, that will conclude our RPR 180 Literary Practice Test.